Welcome to Along the Rock, brought to you by the Radar Free Press. I am your host, Kaitlyn Blum. Today with us, we have Ashton and Stu from Route 66 Paranormal. So tell me, what is Route 66 Paranormal? What is this group?
So this group is basically anybody who is interested in the paranormal. That is spirits, Bigfoot. We cover a lot of things. So we don't just talk about just spirits. We talk about more Bigfoot, fairies, like all these things that people find taboo. You know, we created an environment where people can come together and talk about the things that they've experienced without feeling judged in any sort of way. So
Definitely. I feel like everybody has an unexplainable experience that they've had in their life. And it's cool to have a community around talking about those things and maybe applying a little bit of science to that, as we can see with this equipment right here.
Exactly.
So tell me what like a typical paranormal investigation would look like for you guys.
So before we set up any equipment, we do have a contract. It just basically outlines who's in the home, what's being experienced, what the experiences are, and then also what's the expectation. We step into the home. What are our boundaries? Do you want cameras? Do you want just the EMF detectors? So we get an idea of what's really going on. And then we will set up our equipment when that's all said and done. And then there'll be either, if it's during the night, it's lights out, we'll set up the DVR, we'll set up our cameras over here, which we have night vision and audio. And we also have ones that are just night vision. But yeah, we kind of just set the environment so we're able to get the most out of the experience. So yeah,
I mean, and then collect data and footage from there, and then
data,
review and see what you get.
Exactly. Review takes a little while sometimes because we have so many cameras. This isn't the only DVR we have. We have another one that's a bigger one, but it takes a little bit longer depending on how many rooms, how many angles. So it takes a little longer, but
and if we got like 6 to 8 cameras and we're there for, say, 5 hours,
right?
You know, that's 5 hours per camera we have to go look through. And
oh, yeah.
and if we catch something that we're thinking, you know, we're going back and forth, you know, rewinding it, listening, rewinding, watching it. We're doing that for, you know, it could be anywhere from a couple minutes. I was like, oh, that's just somebody from next door or above us or below us making a sound. And we had to figure out what it is and go from there with it.
Or an orb that we could think of might actually be like a bug, because bugs and orbs can sometimes look the same. So we kind of have to decipher, is this something that's paranormal or is it something that's explainable? So that's also a fun detective kind of aspect to it.
Especially if you're looking at the same screen, like the same image for 3-4 hours, you're like, nothing's happening and something just pops up and you're like, please let it be something. But for us, we want to sit there and, you know, want to make sure that's what we're seeing, or it could be explained like a bug or a buzzball flying through the air. So, you know, because the AC or heater kicked on and moved some stuff around. So, and that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, you're looking for the truth, you know? That makes sense. So what is all this equipment that is in front of us right now? Can you tell me what each piece is?
Oh, yeah. Well, we got the basic equipment, cameras here. This is a digital one. I'm actually looking at getting a more the old-style Polaroids. Some people other groups have more experience or better experience capturing on Polaroids. Something about the film, I'm not sure. I got to look more into it myself, but I want to get that. Then obviously we got our cameras. We set them up either just like this on the stand, or in some cases we just set it up on the table or on the floor and just rig them up like that way. Then we got our EMF detectors, which detects anything electromagnetic in a certain area. The higher the strength of the electromagnetic, the greater the signal on there. So it's a lot of times with the spirits, tend to play with it. We also could use it to communicate sometimes. Sometimes, hey, can you wave your hand essentially across this, and it'll either go off or it doesn't. So that's one way we could try to real time communicate with the spirits or somebody there. So
Yeah.
then also we have a thermal detector here. We just essentially point it at anything, and it will read digitally what the temperature is, whatever we're pointing at. Sometimes the spirits will have a colder feel to them, and we could see that, like somewhere, like say along this wall here, it should be a normal temperature, say like 7, 8 degrees. Then it's all of a sudden something will go right there, and it'll drop the temperature down to 50 degrees
Okay.
instantly. Or, we try to figure out what's behind the wall. Sometimes they got heating ducts behind the wall, and if we're hearing a sound over there, and then also we can see the heating ducts because it's warmer in a certain area and it's going across the wall. We know that's the heating system, and the sheet metal is just rattling behind the wall, and this could cause what some people say spirits making sounds.
Yeah.
So, you want?
Yeah, sure. So this is our spirit box. Sometimes you would definitely see this in if you watch Ghost Adventures. This is one of their main tools. It just goes through different radio frequencies, and spirits are said to be able to manipulate those frequencies to pick out certain words that they want to express. Maybe a sentence, maybe a word. It goes through these waves really fast, and it's kind of loud. So, but yeah, it's pretty fun and it's a great way to communicate with the spirits. This right here is our motion detector. It lights up every time there's any sort of movement in front of it. So if you have stairs, you could set it on a stair, and then you could see the actual movement of if it would be a person going down each step. So that's pretty cool too. These, your very fancy holiday lights, Christmas lights. So what we did, well, actually, I got to give the credit to you. What you did at the millwright where we investigated, he hung it over one of the rafters.
Over the service door for the elevator.
The service door of the elevator. And we actually caught video of it moving on its own. So someone would have to have pulled it.
Oh, wow.
Like the old-fashioned...
Kind of like the drawstring to let people know that hey, the elevator is going to be moving and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right.
That elevator shaft in particular had collapsed at one point, so people died on that one. I originally got them to hopefully get them to light up, but I just hanged them up right there, and it moved. And it was sitting there for, about a good 5 hours before it moved.
Oh, yeah, there was nobody in the room.
AC was off because it was about this time of the year, so it was like no point having AC or heat on.
Right.
And next thing you know, it just nobody was in there for a few hours, and it just moved all of a sudden. So.
And it was in a move where it had to be physically manipulated. It wasn't like it fell because of a draft. No, it had to be physically moved.
Wow.
Or pulled, so to speak.
That's really crazy.
Yeah, it was really cool. That was probably one of our favorite ones.
Yeah.
I would say.
I wasn't expecting it. I was just kind of hoping, because I have seen it on like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures where it lights up, just a small section of the lights too. That's what I was kind of hoping for, but not a complete movement like that. So that shocked me quite a bit. So.
Did you have any other experiences at this place?
Okay, yeah. You touched that machine. I don't remember what the machine was. It was, so they have like artifacts set out in the lobby where you can see what the textiles were, how they were made and so forth. And he touched that machine, and immediately I felt like a wave of energy. And like, I'm telling you, it was like somebody pushed me back. And that kind of stuck with me. And I think you saw me kind of react.
You did, yeah.
And that was probably one of my, if I could have captured that for everybody to see, that would have been cool, but I didn't.
And we had another person there later the night of our investigation. She had a very negative response. The way she described it is like like somebody watching her, like really negatively, and she felt very out of place. Like she really wanted to go home. She didn't feel comfortable. And it was like, she kind of described it as like the creepy guy at the bar, essentially. So
Yeah.
she just wanted to get out of there as fast as possible. But our sister group helped her out quite a bit, and hopefully she felt better afterwards. But hopefully, you know, that doesn't get her, like, spooked her completely, so she could stay away from all this. Hopefully she'll come back to it. But she had a really bad experience that night. So
That does happen. It does happen, but we have team members who are trained to handle those types of situations. So, yeah.
Well, man, all this talk has me really excited to, you know, do some recording, do some looking around this very old building, and see if we can find something. So, you guys ready to do that?
Sure.
sure.
Alrighty.